Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Intuitive Energy Forecast for February 16th, 2022. I am Arlene Grace, an intuitive energy coach, channel, and mentor. So today is the full moon. And so the full moon is really about the illumination. And specifically with this, it's the illumination of our own self-worth, our own value, and our passions. And to see and to notice those things that are holding us back from pursuing those passions, right? Today's energy is that of a 6 and a 9 of diamonds, and 6 is all about love and play and family. It's about beauty. It's about discovering the harmony between both the masculine and the feminine energies within us. It's coming into this beautiful blend of our doing and our intuitive senses and acting from on behalf of them, right? Landing into trust of them. It is really coming into the fullness, the wholeness of who we are, and illuminating those places that we may have been avoiding, that we may have been running from, that we may not even have known are there. And so with the 9 of diamonds, there's this beautiful awareness that's rising up in terms of our values, our self-worth. And the word that comes through is shame. You know, the shame that binds us, the shame that holds us. And if you've been following over the last couple of weeks, you know, we've been navigating our own boundaries, those places where, you know, we are willing to stand on behalf of ourselves, and discovering those places where we may have betrayed ourselves, those places where we may have said yes when we wanted to say no. And looking back at those experiences and maybe even wondering, you know, how could they have been different had I said yes to me? Right? How could my life have been different if I would have just trusted what it is that I wanted and walked forth with that, right? I remember I used some stories where, you know, I didn't want to get married and yet I did. And the reason why I didn't, that I did get married was because I was running away from this shame, from feeling judged, from being a bad girl, right? And so today there's this beautiful opportunity, this unfolding of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, you know, and maybe even thinking that there might be something wrong with you or something wrong with the behaviors that you would have done in the past. And shame is a biological response that we have in the body. Shame is carried in the cells. Shame is the lowest frequency that we can hold in our body, that even if we were to, you know, do all of this work, that any shame that we have within us would still decrease the energy within our own body, within our own field, right? And anywhere that we have shame being held in our body has the physical manifestation of physical debt in our bank accounts, lack in our life, debt with our credit cards, all of those places. And so coming into this awareness today is important, because once you know, you know. And once you know, you have choice, right? To decide to do something else. Now, with this physical, biological response that we're having in our body to this shame, there's this conditioning that many of us have had growing up, right? We have been taught, or we have taken on this belief that doing bad or shame is about being bad. Right? Shame is all about being bad. And so we run away from being bad. And think about it, you know, how many experiences did we have as children where we're walking through the living room with a glass of milk and we spill it, and then we're told, oh, you're a bad girl. Or when we're singing too loud, or we're making too much noise, or we've made a mess with all of our toys, oh, you've been a bad boy. Or watching a toddler, right? And a toddler just playing with their sibling, and a toddler will just do what they do. And they go and they grab the toy and they pull it out of their sibling's hand. And the toddler is now told, oh, you are bad. And so rather than the behavior being bad, or the behavior being, incorrect, or whatever word you want to use, the person takes it as, oh, I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad boy, right? And so now, out of our awareness, many of us are dealing with this shame by either denying it, by deflecting it, by rationalizing it. Well, of course, I did it because, da 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 da, or projecting it onto another person, by projecting blame onto another person. It could be that we are suppressing it, we're holding it in the body, which really contributes to physical dis-ease, right? Dis-ease, where it can really move into this place of depression or malaise or weight gain, or other physical symptoms like pain, right? Many of us, in running away from it, we can overcompensate by doing more, by sacrificing ourselves for others. Is this sounding familiar to any of you? Where we intellectualize our shame rather than dealing with our shame, and we intellectualize it again by saying, well, 1 + 1 = shame. And so I'm going to do 1 + 3 so that I don't feel the shame. Many of us isolate. Some of us do take actions that are harmful for ourselves. Addictions, for instance, eating the shame away, or smoking cigarettes, or doing drugs, or, Netflix and chill, right? And so all of this is in an attempt to avoid it, to admit the shame that we're actually feeling in the body. And instead of just facing it and working with it. And so there's this beautiful opportunity with the 9 of Diamonds to graduate from this, to move into another level of how you value yourselves, and deciding to take other actions, to decide to notice these places. And so the questions that came up with this is, are there places in your life where you're dimming your light, where you're not speaking as loudly as you could, where you are holding back in fear of being judged by others, where you are not being yourself, right? Oh, I don't want to go out there as a healer because people are going to think I'm crazy. Or, oh, I want to sing too loudly because I don't want the others to not be heard. Or, oh, I just don't want to say no because, I'm going to hurt their feelings, right? Are there places like that are there experiences that you have in your life, and that with others, with your family, with your friends, with your partner, that are rising up for you? Are you feeling pulled with this full moon? Are you feeling pulled towards a passion? Is there something that you just want to do? Is there something in your life that you do very little of, but it just brings you complete joy? Is there something that you do in your life where, you're working on it and you spend all day doing it and you lose track of the time? Are you being pulled towards a passion? Is there something more that you're wanting to do with your life? Can this passion be turned into purpose, right? And what cycles are rising up? What patterns are you noticing that just keep on showing up over and over again? I always use the example of same boyfriend, different face, right? Or are there experiences where there are places where you are constantly saying yes unto others, sacrificing your others, giving more unto others rather than filling your cup first? Are there places where you are looking outside of yourself to be valued, to be loved, to be adored, rather than coming into a place of giving it to yourself first? And with these patterns that are rising up, these cycles that you may be seeing, are you willing to break through them? Are you willing to decide something new? Are you willing to face that shame? And so as these rise up today, a beautiful thing with this illumination of these things that we do not see, that are not within our own awareness, are you willing to play with forgiveness? To forgive others for playing the muse in your life to show you these things, to show you where you've taken beliefs on that are not true. You're not bad, right? You are lovable. You are beautiful. You are, generous. You are kind. You're powerful. You're extraordinary. You're magnificent. All of these things. Are you willing to come into forgiveness for them and then for yourself? Are you willing to let go of the judgment? Because any judgment that's happening in this moment is from, this idea of if you would have known better, you would have done better, right? And of course, if you would have known better, you would have done better. And so allowing yourself to release any judgments, allowing yourself to release any regrets, allowing yourself to release the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and to come back into this place of just loving yourself and valuing yourself and deciding to pursue whatever is calling you, whatever that passion is, whatever it is that brings you joy, to shine your light, right? And so it's a beautiful day today. It feels extraordinary. I can imagine that we will be seeing more in the collective, that you may have these experiences mirrored back to you with what's happening in the world. And so just noticing that and noticing that what's happening out there is not here in the vicinity of where you are. And that if any of these experiences are happening in your home life, in your relationships, then it's time to take a look. That the triggers that are happening outside of you are mirrors, and you get to notice and witness them and to see whether or not you're triggered, but to use that simply as feedback to, where your mind is, what you're thinking, and what maybe wants to be broken through. Beautiful. Wishing you all the most extraordinary full moon, and I will talk to you tomorrow. So much love. Bye for now.